Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly, and welcome everybody once again for another amazing video of DIY investing. For today's video, I'm going to be dropping some major alpha on the markets to keep you guys on the best path to profitability that I foresee happening by the end of the year. I have two ecosystems that I believe are about to see one of the biggest alt seasons inside of each of these ecosystems that we've ever seen amongst the rest of the market. We have so many different cryptos that are popping off. When this happens, the underlying ecosystem of tokens do phenomenally well. And for today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys two of my favorite ecosystems that I think are going to have one of the biggest rises in value over the next couple months, and some of my favorite tokens built underneath each ecosystem that you guys can go out, do your own research, and actually check these out. I firmly believe we're going to be seeing some easy 10 to 20x plus gains over the next couple months in some of these ecosystems, and so understanding exactly which ones are going to be the best of those to invest in is the most important part. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys all of my picks, giving you guys an update on Bitcoin so that we can stay as profitable as possible to close out the end of this bull run. If you're new and just finding this channel, always remember to do me a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing to this channel for more updates. Always remember to click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these amazing videos like the one provided for you here. And make sure you guys sign up and join the Discord server of over 21,000 members growing. Links are provided for you in the description for the people that want to join and sign up for my community. On top of that, if you're new, just getting into these markets and you want extra educational content on how to be more profitable, links are also going to be provided for you in the description to go ahead and download my free ebook and beginner's guide to crypto. So check it out. Links are provided for you in the description. And with all that being said, guys, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Alrighty guys, so first things first, before we jump into these favorite altcoins that I'm going to be sharing with you guys, before we jump into why I think these other chains are going to be providing some of the best gains, I wanted to cover some basic analysis with Bitcoin, just kind of wrap up some thoughts, and really just explain where we're currently at in the bigger picture of things. Now guys, we've had a nice buyback over the last 24 hours. Bitcoin has now gone back into price discovery. We've pretty much flipped the all-time highs, previous all-time highs now as support, going into new all-time highs, and this is literally just setting us up for the biggest rally inside the crypto markets that we've seen. Maybe not so much as far as percent return with Bitcoin, but when you come to the final end of the blow-off top in each cycle, this is where the most amount of new money floods into the market. This is an opportunity for us all to make a ton of money off altcoins. There's going to be a ton of opportunity in NFTs. Literally anything with crypto, it's going to be very profitable because this is really the ending of all of it. This is where all of the hype kind of comes into one big mania blow-off top, and then we end that as the bull market, and we go back into the new bear market. And so right now, guys, where we're at today is an exciting point because we are now entering back into price discovery. This is where we're going to see Bitcoin make that leap upwards of 100K plus, and it's going to happen really quick. I still see people doubting the end of the year blow off top, how Bitcoin could hit 200K within just a month or two. And I'm here to tell you guys that I'm still very confident with that analysis. And we'll get through here just barely by talking about one of my favorite little bits that's easy to understand. It's anybody can follow along. You don't have to have a ton of expert trading knowledge and background to go off of understanding this, and so I like to use this a lot. And it's basically just mapping out the Fibonacci relationships. If we come all the way back here to the first cycle where we ever had a Bitcoin halving, and we measure wave 3, the entire length of wave 3, back down to the bottom point of the sell-off, that's what gives us our end of the year targets. And we can see that all the way back here in 2013, our targets were the 4236 and the 3618. We saw Bitcoin rally all the way up and hit the very edge of these Fibonacci targets. Now, what's interesting to me is how we did the exact same thing in 2017. If we measure the length of the 3-wave back down to the low point of the sell-off, that gives us our Fibonacci targets for the end of the year. And once again, we topped at those exact same points of time, right between the 3618 and the 4236. That's where Bitcoin got the top of its bull cycle. Now guys, we're following the same time frames once again. We measure from the low of wave 3 down to the high, back down to the midpoint. And we look at this, we're looking at a 4236 to the 3618, just as we always have, which is going to be taking us to 250,000, upwards of 290,000 per Bitcoin. I still firmly believe that this is going to be our targets to close out the end of the cycle. The cycles are so identical up to this point, with 2013 being the easiest to identify between the similarities here. And so guys, we have so many great tools, so many different analysis, so many different analysts are kind of showing the exact same thing through a multitude of different ways of actually showing that through technical analysis. But one of the things I can say without a doubt, guys, is historically we have topped in between these Fibonacci levels. We've topped each of the last 2 cycles that way. Now, if we're comparing the current cycle that we're in to each of the last 2 cycles, thus far the time frames are the same, and so I'm going to continue to stick to these 3-6-1 to the 4-2-3-6, which should be taking us around these time frames close to the end of the year. As we get closer towards the beginning of 2022, we should expect some major cycle top, with Bitcoin kind of doing it first and then the altcoins following after. And so guys, we're still right on path with everything. Now that Bitcoin's breaking those all-time highs and we're about to head into price discovery, I honestly think that 100K is going to be coming really quickly, and it might be 100K before Bitcoin sees any type of major sell-off. And it might be a little bit earlier, 90,000, but I'd say 90 to 100,000. We'll see Bitcoin go up really quickly. It might get a short-term liquidation event where a lot of people take profits. It causes a big wick, but I think immediately we're just going to keep going up in this cycle. And so while this happens, guys, the point of me talking about this is to pretty much just summarize why I believe that there's going to be so much new money coming into the market. It's because Bitcoin has proven us that these all-time highs are no longer resistance, and we're now going into new all-time highs. This is when we see all of the new money flood into the markets. And understanding where the bulk of this value is going to be flooding in is very important, because that's how we can go about investing into other opportunities and making and compounding more wealth along the way. And the thing I want to talk to you guys about today is actually the 2 chains that I think are going to be providing some of the biggest gains as we wrap up the end of the year. Now, these 2 cryptos have been on a nice tear over the last couple months, some of them even longer than that, but the tokens inside of the ecosystems have kind of been overlooked. They're not talked about very much, and that's why I wanted to get to those today's video. So let's talk about the first one on today's list, and that is going to be Solana. So guys, Solana has been on one of the greatest rises in price that we've ever seen in the history of crypto, really. I mean, this is right up there as far as what happened with Ethereum. And Solana, when I look at this chart, it honestly kind of makes me sad because I bought Solana at 60 cents and I sold it. So right here is where I bought my Solana. Literally almost the exact bottom you possibly could. And I sold it over here like an idiot. So, I mean, I missed out on, you know, it'll probably hit 1,000x by the end of this year from where I bought. I honestly think $600 will get tagged. You know, that's not that far off from here. And so I missed out on 1,000x potential. But, you know, nonetheless, even though it sucks I missed out on this, I've been looking heavily under the ecosystem of tokens built on Solana. So guys, as you guys know, all of these major cryptos that are ecosystems, basically like Ethereum, where Ethereum allows us to build our own cryptos, you know, create our own smart contracts and all of that good stuff. Ethereum is an economy, right? All these cryptos that build under Ethereum all of these cryptos that build on Ethereum ultimately help Ethereum grow. So if one of the cryptos under Ethereum does well, it automatically helps Ethereum do well. And so all of these different cryptos that have underlying ecosystems, I've always said that those were going to be the best investments because they have the highest upside potential. When you have so many other cryptos being built under you, let's say a handful of those tokens underneath the ecosystem do really well, that's automatically going to make your overlying ecosystem, in this case Solana, do well as a whole. And that's exactly what we've seen, except we've kind of seen the opposite. There really hasn't been very many tokens underneath Solana that have exploded. It's really just been Solana itself. And so that's why I believe we're actually going to see a ton of new money trickling out of Solana and start going into these underlying tokens built on Solana. And so it's really important that we understand this, because when this happens, when all of this new money starts to trickle back into the underlying ecosystem, we're going to see some massive returns to be made in some of these underlying tokens. And that's why I wanted to cover it in today's video. So if you've been watching Solana and you want to get exposure to some of these different tokens under Solana, I'll teach you guys a really good way to go about finding some of this stuff. So if you come over here and you go to... So if you come over here and go to CoinGecko and you come over to the top where it says coins, you can actually come back down to where it says categories and you can click on this. Now guys, this is where you're going to get all of these different kinds of categories. Now the one that we're talking about right now is Solana Ecosystem. So if you guys come down here, these are going to be cryptos that are built on the Solana ecosystem. These are all going to be tokens available inside of Solana, and you guys can actually come all the way down here. You can look at the market caps. You can find some of these lower market cap stuff, and you can buy some of this stuff because at the end of the day, it's going to start doing phenomenally well. We're going to see a lot of these altcoins do really well. And so I wanted to give you guys one 4 days video. And that is going to be Step Finance. Now, this one in the short term is pretty close to where I originally bought. I'm up a little bit in profit, but I'm giving you guys an entry that's almost the exact same as mine and the VIPs. Now, I wanted to give you guys this opportunity because I firmly believe that we're going to see a big rise coming in Step Finance price. And I like this chart because when you zoom out, it's got a lot of upside potential. There's not very much resistance. There's a ton of volume that came in here, and this entire move is just a one wave, right? We've only ever had 3 impulse waves, which means that the next one coming is most likely going to get very parabolic. We saw 5 impulse waves. We got our ABC correction back down, however you want to draw that. But this is literally just a one wave. And so honestly, guys, I really wouldn't be surprised to see this thing go all the way up back to those previous all-time highs and potentially making a new all-time high. I fully expect this will make a new all-time high at some point. The question is, how many pullbacks do we get before that ends up taking place? But I love this chart, guys. I think that this is a really undervalued crypto that's going to do really well from where we're at today. If we manage to come all the way up to the top of this wick, that's like a 3x return. If we retest the all-time highs, that's just under an 8x return. So I think that this one's going to be a really good pick to actually get. I know a lot of really popular influencers are jumping on board with this. I accumulated this one a couple weeks ago, so I'm currently just sitting, holding, gonna see what happens with it. But if you guys are looking for exposure to an underlying Solana ecosystem token, I think that this one's a great opportunity. I like this one not so much because I know exactly what it is from a fundamental perspective, but I love the chart of this. I think the chart really shows us how strong this actually is, and we're about to see a big move coming. With this new volume, we're starting to see an uptick of volume coming in here with this breakout. We're starting to flip this previous resistance as support. I bet there's a huge move that comes. And so if you guys want to get, if you guys actually do want to manage to get some exposure to this, you just come over here and you search up Step. It's a little bit of a higher market cap. I mean, it's already at 177. It's already at 172 million. So that's another reason why I wanted to give you guys this one. It's higher cap. It's a little bit safer pick, but I still think it's going to go on a massive run. Now, if you guys come down to markets and you scroll down, these are actually going to be the places that you can get it. If you have a Gate.io, that's a centralized exchange that you guys can buy it from. MEXC is a decentralized exchange. The one that I personally used was Orca. And Orca is pretty much my favorite DEX to use inside of the Solana ecosystem. Radium works really well as well, so I mean, you guys can go for that too. But at the end of the day, I use Orca a lot of the time. It seems to be the easiest one for me to use, most user-friendly. So if you guys are looking to actually pick some of this up, I would go between either Gate, Radium, or Orca. These are all going to be solid picks. And so you guys are going to have to actually use Solana ecosystem wallet. And so for that, you guys are just going to go and download the Phantom wallet. So Phantom, go and search that, and I'll link all of this stuff in the description so you guys can actually go ahead and find it, but it's just going to be this one right here, phantom.app. And if you guys download the Phantom wallet, deposit some, it doesn't really matter, I guess you just deposit Solana to make it easy. If you guys deposit some Solana inside of your wallet, you can actually go ahead and use Orca and buy Step Finance. So this is just a way that you guys can get connected in with Solana. There's going to be so many other tokens under Solana that do well. So remember, guys, to use your resources, come over here to CoinGecko, go under coins, and then go to categories and find Solana ecosystem. You guys are going to be able to find a ton of undervalued investments that are surely to do very well. Now, one other thing I want to talk to you guys about is actually the Avalanche ecosystem. So right down here, this is AVAX. So Avalanche is another crypto that, you know, is really superior when it comes to the transaction fees and the speeds. I've used it. It works really well. I love it way more than Ethereum. And I believe that as AVAX starts to really do well, like it already has, I think that the underlying ecosystem tokens are going to do well as a whole. So here's once again where you guys can find the top Avalanche ecosystem tokens. You guys can come down here, scroll through all these, sort by market cap, sort by volume, whatever you guys look for, and you guys can find all of that stuff here. Once again, the same way that Solana is going to take off, and it's going to have a ton of alt season token. It's going to have a ton of tokens going into alt season inside of its ecosystem, I think the same exact thing is going to be playing out for Avalanche as a whole. And so finding these two chains specifically, investing into some of the picks inside of them, I think they're going to provide some of the best gains to close out the end of the year, some of the safer gains, because we've already seen how well Avax and Solana have done. Now, the token that I wanted to share with you guys today for the AVAX system is actually going to be Joe. Now, this one, once again, is pretty close to my initial entry price. This is one that I think is going to be a really solid bet. It's very similar market cap to the last one I just gave you that was built on Solana. But basically what Joe is a decentralized exchange built on AVAX. And so you guys can use Trader Joe to go and swap into a number of different AVAX cryptos. You guys, that's predominantly the one I've used. I've actually used two of them at this point. I've used Pangolin and I've used Joe, but you know, I actually hold both of those, but the one I'm talking about today is just Joe. And I think that this one's setting up for a nice move on the upside. What we can see here is just your classic example of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulse, followed by an ABC correction back down. We've made a higher high, and then this most recent move that we saw here is pretty much the exact same thing. It's just a fractal of this. And so what we can see is stacking one waves. This is wave 1 of 1. This is wave 1 of 3. And so what's coming next is wave 3 of 3, where honestly, I just expect this thing to take off. Massive green candles into price discovery. Hard to tell exactly how high it's going to go. Hard to tell when there's going to be a dip. It's just because it's super undervalued. This thing hasn't really made any sort of significant market cycle. This is just a short-term impulse followed by a following two-wave impulse. And so this is just the beginning of each of these. And so I honestly think we're going to see this thing take off really hard. $10 is going to be easy. I see us way past that at the end of the day. I think $10 is a safe pick, though, which is like 2.5x approximately. I think this thing's going to go a lot higher, guys. That's the thing. This one, in the same way that we saw Pancake Swap take off once Binance Coin really started doing well, I honestly think that Joe is going to do the exact same thing. And so with this one being fairly undervalued, I mean, if we come over here, it's going to have a little bit of a higher market cap, 339 mil. But if this thing starts tacking up, 10 billion plus in market cap, which it most likely will, that's still a really great return. And that's a great return on an ecosystem that, in my opinion, is a safer bet. If AVAX is going to keep doing really well, all of the underlying tokens are going to do well. And honestly, if you've ever used AVAX like I have, it works well. It works great. Same with Solana. I like to use both of these, especially if you're worried about transaction fees. Honestly, everybody's really excited about Uniswap, but when it comes to using Uniswap, you have to pay $200 now at this point just to transact and buy it or sell it. So you're getting screwed over by the gas fees. All of that stuff really sucks. And so that's actually why I've started using AVAX and why I've started using Solana, is because they've done well, phenomenally well from the very beginning, regardless. But mainly just because of how easy it is for everybody to use these ecosystems. And really all you guys have to do, you're going to have to add these to a MetaMask. Well, specifically for the AVAX ecosystem, there's an actual network that you can add for the Avalanche ecosystem on your MetaMask. But when it comes to Solana, download a Phantom wallet. If you guys have a Phantom wallet, you'll be able to connect to all of the DEXs with Solana. To actually connect to the DEXs on AVAX, all you have to do is just add the AVAX network into your MetaMask wallet. But if you guys do all of that, it's super simple. All you have to do is just Google it. Once again, I will link all of that in the description. So if you guys are interested, you guys want to go learn more about this stuff, simply just go in the description of this video. I will share all of that for you guys so that you guys can stay a best ahead. But my two picks are going to be Joe and Step Finance. I think that these are great undervalued picks that are going to perform really well. I think that these are safer picks. I have more lower cap cryptos than both of these inside of the ecosystems, but I wanted to make sure that I was giving you guys a solid one that I think is going to be, great gains, but a little bit safer of a pick. And so these are two of my picks. Everything's going to be linked in the description for you guys to go ahead and check out. Big things are coming inside the crypto markets. As all of this new money is stepping into the market, everything's going into new all-time highs. Expect these two cryptos to do well, along with everything else under these two ecosystems. Thank you all so much for the support. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you found value in this video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these amazing videos. If you guys would like to join the Discord server or download my free ebook, links are going to be provided for you in the description. For the people who'd like to simply just go and join my group, my VIP, my course, my signals, all of that stuff, If you guys want to know what I'm doing with my money, you want to see all of my other picks for Solana, all my other picks for Avax, all of my other picks in general, along with profit taking at the end of the year and diversifying into stocks. All of that stuff's going to be taught inside of my Discord server. And so if you guys want to follow along with all of my money moves over the course of your life, as long as I'm doing this channel, as long as I'm investing my money, you guys are going to get full access to that. It's a lifetime membership, one-time payment. So if you guys do want to get access to all of that, links are going to be provided for you in the description. Thank you all so much for watching. And with that being said, I will catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.